positions are pro-life.
And changed my mind and said I'm pro-life. And I'm proud of that, and I want to apologize to anybody for becoming pro-life.
And I get tired of people who are holier than thou because they've been pro-life longer than I have.
Governor.
I believe that abortion should be safe and legal in this country. I have since the time that my mom took that position when she ran in 1970 as a U.S. Senate candidate. I believe that since Roe v. Wade has been the law for 20 years, that we should sustain and support it. And I sustain and support that law and the right of a woman to make that choice. And you will not see me wavering on that or be a multiple choice. Thank you very much.
Asked, will I preserve and protect a woman's right to choose? I make an unequivocal answer, yes.
No, I want the voters to know exactly where I'm going to stand as governor, and that is I am not going to change our pro-choice laws in Massachusetts in any way. I will preserve them, I will protect them, I will enforce them, and therefore I'm not going to make any changes which would make it more difficult for a woman to make that choice herself. When I'm governor, and I'm convinced I will be, I will preserve and protect a woman's right to choose. I don't accept either label, pro-choice or pro-life. Instead, I make it clear that I will preserve and protect a woman's right to choose. I will preserve and protect a woman's right to choose, and am devoted and dedicated to honoring my word in that regard. I will not change any provisions of Massachusetts' pro-choice laws.
As governor, all of the issues that have come to my desk that have dealt with the matter of abortion, I have decided on the side of life.
And over my term, I had about 4 or 5 different measures that came to my desk, and on every single one of them, I came down on the side of respecting human life.
And every action I've taken as governor of Massachusetts has been pro-life. This is a very difficult decision. We involve the lives of 2 people, a mom and an unborn child, and yet I've come down on the side of saying I'm in favor of life.
As governor, all the decisions I've made as governor on all the bills that came to my desk were, I came down on the side of life. No, I'm saying I changed my mind, and you can look at my record as governor, and you can see in my record as governor that I have consistently been pro-life. Made it very clear that while in the past I had said I would preserve the laws in Massachusetts as they existed, that I was firmly pro-life, and that I would support justices and policies that were pro-life.
And changed my mind and said I'm pro-life. And I'm proud of that, and I want to apologize to anybody for becoming pro-life.
At one point, I was sitting down with the head of the Stem Cell Research Department of Harvard and the provost of Harvard University, and they were explaining these techniques to me, and I somehow imagined in my mind this embryo farming. Embryo farming is taking donor sperm and donor eggs and putting them together in a laboratory and creating a new embryo. And if that's not creating life, I don't know what is. And I imagine just row after row after row of racks of these, either by a cloning process or by this farming process. And at that point, one of the 2 gentlemen said, "Governor, there's really not a moral issue at stake here." And he said, "Because we destroy the embryos at 14 days. And I have to tell you that that comment and that perspective hit me very hard. And as he left the room with his colleague, I turned to Beth Myers, my chief of staff, and said, "I want to make it real clear. We have so cheapened the value and sanctity of human life in our society that someone could think there's not a moral issue because we kill human embryos at 14 days. And so shortly thereafter, I announced that I was firmly pro-life.
I guess people have to make up their minds whether he has really had a conversion. He tells a story of a meeting he had with a scientist from the Harvard Stem Cell Institute. And he says in that meeting, the scientist talked about killing embryos. And for him, this was an epiphany. The light went on. He realized that we had cheapened human life because of our views on stem cell research, and he changed his mind. The Harvard scientist tells a different story and says, we are scientists, we don't talk about killing embryos, and the meeting didn't occur.
Absolutely committed to my promise to maintain the status quo with regards to laws relating to abortion and choice, and so far I've been able to successfully do that.
The Massachusetts Citizens for Life, just several months ago, brought me in and gave me an award for my public leadership on the basis of being pro-life.
Why did you accept the endorsement
there are a lot of people
the
that
Mass
endorse
Citizens
me.
for Life?
I don't know about the endorsement of the Mass Citizens for Life. I didn't seek it. I didn't ask for it. When you say I accepted it, I didn't write them a letter and say, here, thank you very much for your endorsement.
Your spokesperson stated that you accepted their endorsement.
Shannon, I can tell you again, I did not in any way acknowledge their endorsement, nor do I. When you say I accept it, in what way did I accept it, Shannon?
Ask your campaign spokesperson.
I don't have a campaign spokesman here tonight. I'm here right now, and I can tell you I do not take the position of a pro-life candidate. I'm in favor of preserving and protecting a woman's right to choose.
We support a human life amendment to the Constitution, and we endorse legislation to make it clear that the 14th Amendment's protections apply to unborn children. Do you support that part of the Republican platform?
You know, I do support the Republican platform, and I support that being part of the Republican platform, and I'm pro-life.
My view is that the Supreme Court has made an error in saying at the national level, one size fits all for the whole nation, and instead I would let states make their choice.
So it's okay that we're a pro-choice state?
Yeah, I let states make their own decision in this regard. My view, of course, is I'm a pro-life individual. That's the position that I support. But I would let states have this choice rather than have the federal government have it.
But what I would like to see is the Supreme Court open Roe v. Wade to say, instead of having a one-size-fits-all Roe v. Wade philosophy over the entire nation, where all states have to follow Roe v. Wade, instead I'd say let states make their own decision on this issue, and let each state make its own choice.
Well, our state is overwhelmingly a pro-choice state, and Massachusetts would surely, under the construct I've suggested, remain a pro-choice state.
Get trusted. Get trusted. Get trusted. Get trusted. Get trusted.
In a place that had a one-party state, it was primarily Republican. I thought, well, won't that be nice? The answer is no.
Look, I was an independent during the time of Reagan-Bush. I'm not trying to return to Reagan-Bush.
Running as the Republican view or a continuation of Republican values. That's not what brings me to the race.
Well, knowing Governor Mitt Romney is knowing somebody who first and foremost has very strong family values. That's something I grew up with and believe in.
Be better off with all Republicans. As a matter of fact, I've been in a state like that for the last 3 years. It's not a good thing.
My sons are all adults, and they've made their decisions about their careers. And they've chosen not to serve in the military in active duty, and I respect their decision in that regard. It's remarkable how we can show our support for our nation. And one of the ways my sons are showing support for our nation is helping to get me elected because they think I'd be a great president.
Very clear, I think, to people across the Commonwealth that my R doesn't stand so much for Republican as it does for reform.
And then there's sort of his whole history with his evolution on various views to coming more to the right, whether it be immigration, abortion, or stem cell research. The man is pretty clearly trying to erase the Google cache of his entire political history.
That never works.
And I want to make sure that every new computer sold in this country after I'm president has installed on it a filter to block all pornography.
The problem with the Romney campaign is that he is so intent on winning that he will literally say anything.